Hello Internet, my name is Swan and thank you for tuning into part 2 of my Nerflocke challenge. From last time I did end up boxing my starter, Mini Games the Bayleaf, as I promised from last video, and leveled up my team to at least level 18 to match Whitney's Clefairy. With boxing minigames, I chose Sugarwool because Skiploom is fairly fast and can get out some good flinches with Headbutt, and Jumpluff is even faster, so I cannot wait until it fully evolves. If anyone else is aware of storytelling, normally when information that is stressed upon is brought up, sometimes it is foreshadowing for what is to come. Why don't we start out with a team layout? We have Nosferatu the Zubat with the available moves Bite and Supersonic, Hen the Hoothoot with Tackle, Hypnosis, Foresight, and Peck, Sugarwool the Skiploom with Headbutt, Synthesis, Tail Whip, and Stun Spore, Lexi the Poliwag with Headbutt and Hypnosis, Arthur the Slowpoke with Headbutt, Curse, and Growl, Scramble the Togetic with Headbutt, Charm, Metronome, and Sweet Kiss. I wanted to remind everyone that this challenge run is to only give Pokemon moves that will reflect their poor stats, and until I can remove the other current moves, I can only use specific movesets until the optimal sets can be acquired, mostly through TMs. I was glad to see that the trainers in the gym were not too challenging, and Nosferatu was getting very good flinch luck with almost every battle, but in between I did go back out to heal. The team of Sentrets were almost a full sweep from Nosferatu, with some help from Arthur. Outstanding! The Meows were hitting harder than Sentret, but not too difficult. I threw in Sugarwool to paralyze the cats, then took them down with Headbutts. The Snubbull trainer went down fairly easy with Bite flinches, and the Jigglypuff trainer met the same fate. It was miraculous to watch as my tiny bat flew through this gym, gnawing on every trainer's Pokemon, causing them to be in so much shock that he was able to almost sweep this gym all on his own with just his fangs. I am so very proud to have him as a team member. Next was Whitney. I should have prepared more and brought my team up to 20 to match Miltank, and you will see why I have learned my lesson from this. Whitney brings out her Clefairy. As I lead with Nosferatu, I go for a Confuse Ray, and it lands. Thankfully, I swap out to Sugarwool to try and get a Stun Spore off. Wait, it broke out of confusion? Just my luck. Well, I still went for Stun Spore, so hopefully... crap. It outsped? Clefairy uses Metronome and gets Roar? Not horrible, but mildly annoying. And it drags out Arthur. I figured Clefairy couldn't do much damage to Arthur, so I thought I could set up my defenses with a few curses, and get off some strong headbutts once I built up enough. After using one curse with Arthur, Clefairy lands 2 double slaps, which didn't seem that troublesome, so Arthur proceeds to curse further. Then the damn fairy got all 5 double slaps. Well, it didn't do too much, so I'm sure that it did not create an issue for his health getting too low right now, as curses do build up his defense. I proceed to set up with curses, as I remember I forgot to get more berries, which could have been most helpful. After the next curse, Clefairy used Metronome again and rolls Transform. I'm very surprised on what Metronome has been rolling for both myself and other trainers thus far. I figured it wouldn't be too horrible to have the Clefairy as Arthur, since I got his defenses up, but I forgot about his speed. While transformed, her Clefairy proceeded to use all of its available headbutts to bring Arthur down to the red, including getting a flinch. Well, shit. I bring Sugarwool back out to recover and take on Clefairy. It landed a hard headbutt on me, but luckily I had a berry on him. I went for a Stun Spore, and it landed, thank God. This is being more trouble than it should. Clefairy went for a Growl this time, and at least it gave me a chance. Maybe he was out of headbutts? It doesn't really matter now, though. I healed up with Synthesis, and she went for a Growl again. This sign was surely telling that it was out of headbutts. Sure enough, as I went for headbutts myself, it continued with Growl until it went down. I'm surprised how much trouble this thing caused me. When it transformed, did it copy the stat boosts? Maybe I'm overthinking this, but it was definitely difficult to keep up with the Clefairy after it transformed into Arthur. It made things difficult for going against Miltank for sure. Looking at Sugar Bowl's health, I'm confident that even one rollout was survivable. Now all I need to do is put my plan into action. I thought I had enough health to take 2 rollouts from Miltank, so I went for a Stun Spore, but apparently the cow is faster than the cotton plant? What the fuck? Well, surely, even if it outspeeding, I can land a Stun Spore. It missed? Fuck. I tried again hoping the cow would miss its second rollout, or maybe it was a speed tie or something. Unfortunately, upon seeing Miltank hit rollout again, it dawned on me that Skiploom is slower than Miltank based on their stat totals. As you can see, while I'm sitting here trying to make a decision, 4 of the members on my team are part flying type, and the ones who are not flying type are severely low health. So I had to make a decision and somebody was going to die. I tried to think of any probable way that I could hopefully win and walk out with as many team members as possible, and ultimately, I decided that Sugar Bowl had to offer himself to the cow's power. I'm sorry, buddy. It was the only way. Unfortunately, the cow set herself up to take control of the battle with just 2 rollouts. As you can see, I did not properly understand my team's stats, and I ended up letting the cow take out a good portion of my team. For some reason, I brought out Nosferatu, thinking maybe he could be faster and get a flinch. No, he got squished. I bring out Hen thinking maybe she would have enough defense to survive a +4 rollout and get Hypnosis off. But it was the fear talking, the fear of having to start over from a wipe, so in a panic I lost all sense of what I was trying to do, and Whitney knew this. Hen went down without even understanding what I was forced to do. I'm sorry, Hen, I did not intend for this. I bring out Scramble next because I'm not sure of what the hell I was trying to do. But after seeing him out, I figured rather than sacrificing him for nothing, I would bring out Arthur. He at least is on the brink of death, knowing sacking him would give me a free switch into someone else. Because after she rolled over Sugar Bowl, Nosferatu, and Hen, I lost all confidence in winning this fight. Miltank apparently missed the rollout towards Arthur, which annoyed me, because it could have missed 4 turns ago, but no, it just had to miss on the last turn. Fucking bitch. That was utterly disgraceful. I let Arthur fall to a stomp because he couldn't get off any attacks anyways. Earlier, I taught Scramble Mud Slap to hopefully get some accuracy drops on Miltank, but unfortunately the cow is still super fast and ended up getting off in a tract. Fuck. I prayed that Scramble would break through and land the Mud Slap, but he ended up being hungry for some fresh milk and was immobilized. Shit. Damn it, Scramble. I know milk and eggs go good together, but this is absurd. Get your shit together. Now is not the time. I swapped out for Lexi to let Scramble get a cold shower. Stupid, horny egg. Lexi was low health, so I figured it couldn't do anything, but I could at least attempt the hypnosis with her just in case. Unfortunately, I did not notice Lexi's defenses until it was too late when it only took 10 points of damage from Miltank's stage 1 rollout. If I knew Lexi had a good defense stat, I would have definitely molded my plan of attack a little better. At least I have a plan for next time. And of course, through this revelation, she still missed hypnosis. I send out Scramble for his last attempt of doing something, and unfortunately Lexi's defense, being as good as it was, made the Miltank's rollout up to stage 3, and it was the end of this attempt. I really was hoping to get further than Whitney on this first run. I know that I can get past her if I just plan things out better. Well then, time for attempt number 2. All in all, it is still the same plan, but now my trainer ID landed me with Totodile this time around, which guarantees a special attacker and allows for the hikers to be easier when I get to them. Everyone, please welcome what I think is possibly the best nickname, Mick Gatortot. Ah, naming at its peak. It only gets better from here, people. As there is not much to go over with the opening portions of this game, here is a quick recap of the events that occur. As most people who have played Gold, Silver, Crystal, or the Gen 4 remakes Heart Gold and Soul Silver know, You start the game at home, you talk to the professor who tells you to go to Mr. Pokemon. You tell your mom that you have a task ahead of you and she offers to help save your money, even though she spends it. You make your way up to Mr. Pokemon and Professor Oak to receive the egg that needs to be brought back to Professor Elm. On your way back, the rival stops you and you teach him a lesson about stealing, even though you let him walk away with the Pokemon he stole. You get back to Professor Elm to give him the egg just to be falsely accused by the police, and then the game actually opens up for you, and my challenge starts once again. The planned encounters so far are still supposed to be the same, starting in the morning or daytime to get Centret, who this time will be Swiss Roll. Once again in Cherry Grove City, change time to night to get the next 2 encounters, Hoot Hoot and Spinnerack, as they both have the same encounter rates in both routes between Cherry Grove and Azalea. I once again do plan on skipping Dark Cave for now, as the available encounter would be better suited if obtained from the other entrance, and chasing after the 1% Dunsparce is not something that I would like to do, whereas the other encounter is only 15%. As I review the information for the encounters again, I may have to redact this previous statement about Dunsparce, as it could have been a very big help for both Faulkner and Bugsy, because his learn set allows rollout, and I could have used him sufficiently during the first 2 gyms, before the normal type encounters were available. Moving along northward, I first encounter Hoot Hoot, which means the next encounter should be Spinnerack. Welcome to the team, Smidgen. I'm sure you will bring a sweet relief to the events going forward. However, as much planning as I can do for making sure I have the optimal encounters available, RNG is still a factor, and this time I do not get the spider, but I encounter a Bellsprout. This is technically a viable encounter, as I can trade it for a guaranteed Onyx and Azalea. However, Onyx and Steelix are unusable as an attacker, and using it as a wall or staller seems too easy, and this challenge needs to be as challenging as possible, even though this is my first video series I am putting out. I hope my suffering for this content is enough for even the smallest audience to enjoy, so although I do accept this encounter, I do not wish to actually use him, but I will give Onyx his due that he is a helpful pivot in battle and a key to most nuzlocks. Pivots, that being. However, with the rules established, I would like for any wall I have to be able to do efficient damage without hindering my team in any way. I don't expect him to stay on the team, but I will allow for him to be in the counter for now. While most attacking moves are physical, and his superior defense will allow for a great switch in for a fair amount of scenarios in the early game. I only focus training up Swiss Roll and Smidgen for the fight with Faulkner, so the primary team members are at his level cap. The fight itself went fairly smooth, I think. As always, Faulkner starts with his Pidgey, and I started with my Hoot Hoot, Smidgen. Smidgen growled at the Pidgey, so I could then bring in Rocky to use Screech. However, Rocky misses his Screeches, so I save him for the next mob. Knowing the AI sees Onyx is weak to ground, hence it keeps using Mud Slap, I swapped out to Smidgen for her immunity to ground. Maybe Rocky could actually be a viable teammate, but I will need to think on it and find out where to get the Iron Coat. With Smidgen out, Pidgey will go for Tackle, so I bring out McGator Tot, who proceeds to scratch down Pidgey. Not much else to say, it's a Pidgey, it sucks. I decided last second to bring Rocky back out to prep for the Pidgeotto so I could possibly get a Screech in. Rocky fails again to use a move. But the Held Berry did help, so with a heal and a few more Mud Slaps, the 28-foot tall rock snake is finally able to slam itself onto the 1-foot tall bird, taking it down so it can attempt to scream at the 3-foot tall bird that comes out next. Rocky eventually gets the effect of its yelling successfully landed to lower the defense of the bigger bird, then gets swapped out for Smidgen for her ground immunity. This way Smidgen can set up growls and assert her dominance as the better bird, and tasty chocolate snack. After Smidgen had asserted her dominance through vocal intimidation, I brought Rocky back out, then put Smidgen back in, just to waste another power point so I could more confidently bring in Swiss Roll. Swiss Roll may not have the best attack stat, but with Rocky's Screech and Smidgen's Growls, she could do fair damage and take hits efficiently. Swiss rolls her way over the bird and takes it out, enjoying a snack during its trampling. Of the times that I have been here at Faulkner for this challenge, this will be the first time I avoid letting a Pokemon die, mainly because I was actually paying attention to what was going on. Unfortunately, I lost some footage from immediately after Faulkner where I obtained new encounters, but I was able to recover some of it. So, introducing Bullwinkle the Zubat and the unnamed Wooper, as I misclicked and skipped the nicknaming session for this one. By the time that the scripting was getting done and for how long it took to get to actually recording, I don't really recall what I was going to name it, so I'm sure it'll be updated by the time I get into Goldenrod City. Anyways, I used Bullwinkle solely through the Sprout Tower until the Elder Sage, which was all to help its friendship level up as much as possible as early as possible. And the Togepi egg is resting quietly in the party during this time. The Elder Sage battle isn't difficult, but still a minor story point. I used Zubat to leech life down the Bellsprout and then swapped out to make Gatortot for his Hoothoot. Gatortot raged out and took down the Hoothoot with ease. Then the final Spellsprout, I brought Smidgen back out to take it down, since Zubat was low on HP and Leech Life PP. With the Elder Sage defeated, I made my way out of the tower and down to Union Cave. While running around with Benedict, getting to the cave, he evolved into Togetic. Wooper was an immense help to get past the hikers and other trainers inside the cave, leading to the next encounter of Dandy Phantom, the Hoppip. I unfortunately got into the battle with the hiker outside the cave and almost lost the run. Again. I declared my one mulligan for this attempt since the Machop was hitting so hard and I was doing minimal damage. I changed the game to nighttime to pick up the Ilex Forest encounter, Oddish, this time named Landissimo. I got healed up and proceeded into the Slowpoke well to deal with the rockets. Unfortunately, nature decided to play against me and I brought Smidgen down due to Ekans' poison. She would have been a great knockdown if I had played more carefully with planning for statuses. After the events of the well, I snagged up the Slowpoke encounter, this one named Guinevere, and proceeded to train for Bugsy. Swiss Roll evolved during training, and everyone, except Rocky, was up to 16. Bugsy was not difficult, but I did play incorrectly as I forgot the rules of my own run while trying to get back to where I had wiped previously, and I ended up having Gatortot rage against the bugs and not the machines. I only caught this after recording, so please forgive me. Rival 2 wasn't difficult either, starting with Bullwinkle to take down the Ghastly, and then using Benedict to Swift for his Zubat and Meganium. While proceeding towards Goldenrod, no significant things occurred except for after I healed in the Poke Center in Goldenrod, I went to fight the security guard, and apparently Wooper was not strong enough to take down the Growlithe. Great. Well, there goes a good water type. Through training for Whitney, I fished up the northern route encounter, Vini the Poliwag, then proceeded to get everyone up to 20 to fight Whitney. However, this time, I learned my lesson, and I do not have any flying types on my team to go up against her. I really should keep with the level caps because before I was underleveled, which was likely the reason I wiped 4, not just the fact that I had 4 flying types. Clefairy went down easily, as always, then it was time for Miltank. Even while leaving myself in speed-up mode, I was doing my best to actually focus on this battle as to limit any deaths possible. Ultimately, Miltank's damage was building up, and I chose to make a sacrifice. Rocky did all he could to help, but in the end, he just needed to stall for a little while. Wandissimo was able to get off a poison, which greatly helped. Then Swiss Roll came out to finish it off with Fury Swipe. From here, I took some time to review my available encounters, although RNG still being a mild factor can make some encounters difficult to have. After dealing with Whitney's whiny whimpers, I went next door for the squirt bottle and proceeded north for more experience and to deal with the wiggly tree. Unfortunately, with the rules of this run, Sudowoodo is not a viable encounter in the slightest. I got healed up at Ekritik to also unlock the Goldenrod City encounter. The patch of grass just below of Ekritik unfortunately gave me a Spinnerack. Thank you for showing up, Miles, but you really are not going to be useful, though you are more viable than Sudowoodo. I went back to Goldenrod to pick up the free Eevee. This little cutie will be Vi. She wanted to get a haircut, then she took her sweet time to make sure that every single person in the city saw her new do, which did help with getting her to evolve in time, as the best option for evolution for this run, Umbreon, although we are missing out on a very early level move in Feint Attack, which would have been oh so helpful for Morty. I proceeded past Ekritik all the way to Olivine to grab the good rod for the next encounter, Corsola, who is only available during the day, so I had to change the time again. But now we have Reefer, who is actually going to be a pretty good attacker with Recover to heal back up. Stopping back up north near the ranch, we stole a cow. With special time-bending tactics, technically. Everyone say hello to Blissey, the Miltank. Why Blissey? Because I think it's silly. If this next bit gets into the video, it is because I was not given the ad read for this video's sponsor. As I had planned to make this video shorter, unfortunately the amount of data I recorded made this part of the series fairly long, so I apologize if all of this seems a little ganky. I will be working on the next part soon, so they could and hopefully should be out sooner and in smaller portions, as I feel an adequate time frame for a video like this needs to be shorter. So please look forward to the next few videos that are coming down the pipeline. If I did not get to the ad read that was supposed to be here, because there's not much else to talk about during the grinding session, I would like to ask that you please give me your honest opinion on the challenge so far in the comment section below. Any and all feedback is welcome, even if you think that the rules are too complicated for something that is already complicated. So, I have to interrupt myself here. You just heard me say that I did not get the ad read because you heard that little blurb. So, I actually did get the ad read, but it's not me who reads the ad. It actually is a promo reel from the video sponsor. Please enjoy.
Hey, I just wanted to break in here and remind you that this episode is sponsored by shop.dracowolf.com, where you can get witchy jewelry and decor. But I know I have some stuff that you gamers might love as well. I mean, of course, we have like everything runic and everything Viking for that warrior vibe. We have the Vegazir in a couple different colors, a couple different sizes, and of course we do custom work. We have runic necklaces, and of course we have little really cool rune sets for those who want to try their hand at some divination. We have both painted versions and unpainted. So if, oh, that's not unpainted, but we do have unpainted versions. So if you like painting miniatures and you want to spend the time to get to know your rune set, that is perfect for you. And of course, we also have stuff that your lady will love, your witchy woman in your life, like our best sellers, our moon and star bowls, which are come in all sorts of blended colors. They're really beautiful. And the 9-inch floral moons. These are very large. They look great in a window. And if you need something a little bit more romantic, we have beautiful little bundles where you can get handmade necklace and earring sets that also come with some handmade herbal bath blends. But in case you missed it, we're at shop.dracowolf.com. Now, back to the episode.
Turning back focus to the grind. Unfortunately, the higher level Pokemon to the west of Ekritik caused a few deaths that I would have rather avoided. I'm sorry, Dandy Phantom and Vini, you both would have been great encounters to finish this run with. Miles, thank you for showing up. You unfortunately were squashed by a deer. It was nasty. Your guts were everywhere. Peter and Gwen will sorely miss you. Thank you all for watching. In the next video, you'll be starting with Morty. I think this will be a great start to part 3. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And follow me on Twitch or other content that isn't posted here. And please remember, be excellent to each other.